what would you call this now? I don't want to even call it red pill because I feel like that's too like niche. But what do you call when you wake up? What is the term that people use?
Red pill used to be our term, but then now it means arguing with 7 club hoes. So
But bitches
we can't use that one anymore.
Yeah. What is the new one?
Don't marry a porn star, guys. That's my takeaway. That was something I thought we just knew in high school, but I guess that's got to be settled on a lot of different podcasts. But I don't know. Yeah, whatever it is, like, just, I don't know that we have like the perfect term, but whoever kind of the dissidents are that just like see this whole system as like just totally corrupt and fake. And that's kind of why I liked the red pill analogy, because it was a great analogy from The Matrix. That's like, oh, you take this and you realize that everything is like this carefully constructed illusion that is constructed by bad people who don't have your best interest at heart, you know? So
one thing I think you've done really well is I think you've managed your like emotional state. I think a lot of people that go down this rabbit hole, they get incredibly anxious.
That's a great point.
They're miserable, and it's hard to not be miserable when you start seeing all these institutions that are potentially lying to you.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, and I want to go back into more of what's going on, but I'm just curious, like, how often are you checking in with yourself so you don't become one of these people who they kind of go crazy?
Yeah, well, 100%. And I've seen so much of that. And I do sometimes kind of sympathize with those guys, because it is, when you start like getting into this stuff, it is stuff that's so evil that you're like, it's like worth dying over or flipping out over or something, you know, like even just if you just go study like the war in Iraq and like how these fucking people who wanted this war for years before 9/11, literally wrote, if you go read this in a Project for a New American Century, which was the think tank of all the neocons, the people who, it was like 20 people who were the signatories on it. It was like Dick Cheney and Paul Wolfowitz and Richard Pearl, and I think 10 of the 20 went on to have high-level positions in George W. Bush's administration. And they wrote before 9/11 that our whole plan here is to fight multiple wars in the Middle East, and the first stop is overthrowing Saddam Hussein. And in their own words, they wrote, but we probably can't get public support for that short of another Pearl Harbor type event.
Wow.
And then after 9/11, they went, Got it. This is and then like 1 million people got killed in Iraq. Like just that alone. If you just look at that, you're like, yo, this is like so evil. So it's like very easy to flip out over that stuff. I think, at least at this point in my life, having a wife and little kids helps a lot. It just kind of focuses me on like, that's my actual life. This is just the stuff I'm interested in talking about.
I could see if you don't have that, you could completely drown yourself in this information because it's never ending.
I think being a comedian before that also really helped. It was just kind of, there was just like this light and fun
You're going to see the levity in this.
Yeah, right. Right. You're always kind of going to be like, okay, well, what can I turn this into a joke? Or at least, even if I couldn't turn it into a joke, tonight I'm going to be at a nightclub with all my friends who happen to be hilarious people. We're all going to be laughing and we're all going to be working on our sets. That kind of kept me grounded. And then also, I'm just, whatever my own like insecurity is, I have an obsessive need to not get it wrong. And so I'm constantly guarding myself of like, okay, I'm not going to just fall over the deep end here and just believe some nonsense that's not true just because it kind of suits my narrative. I mean, I naturally guard against that, but I've seen a lot of people who don't guard against that, and it gets bad quick.
And that's where the rabbit hole is probably.
Yeah. I'm curious. You say the government's so evil. Like, I haven't heard you say one good thing. Is there anything good that the government's doing?
They're really good at being evil. They do a great job. I said the thing about the Nazis, what they did with the Jews. They put up incredible numbers.
Efficient. Shout out. So you don't think there's nothing that the government is doing that's good?
Oh, no, I mean...
Are there well-intentioned people in government?
Oh, yeah, sure. No, I think there are well-intentioned people in government, and I think that...
And they get shot in the head off.
But like, they will, if they're too well-intentioned, they know too much.